Hey, what's going on, music lovers, and welcome to another episode of Music Culture Daily. I am your host, Maurice. Please like, comment, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notification, share the video. Today is Friday, and I want to talk about Jay-Z's classic 1996 debut album, Reasonable Doubt. If you don't know, this is Reasonable Doubt's 25th anniversary on today. Today is June 25th, 2021. So today makes exactly 25 years since this classic album was released. This album was released on Rockefeller Records and Priority Records. This was before he went to Def Jam, where he had a legendary run on that legendary Def Jam label. But this is his debut album. Like I mentioned, it was released June 25th, 1996. This is a classic album from Jay-Z. Everybody knows that any hip-hop fan would tell you. A lot of people say this is Jay-Z's best album, greatest album to date. I think it's I would say it's Blueprint, but you can't go wrong with either one in my opinion. But a lot of hip-hop fans would say that this is Jay-Z's greatest album. This album received 4.5 mics in the source when it initially was released, but years later, I think back in like 7 years later in 2002, they went back and reviewed the album again and gave it a 5 mic rating. Like I said, it's nothing that you can say about this album that haven't been said already. This album had production from DJ Premier, Ski, Nobody, Clark Kent, DJ 𝐦𝐤𝐤𝐤, that was the name he was going by at the time. Just to name a few. I believe 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐤 did some production on this album as well. It had guest appearances from up and comers like Memphis Bleak, Sauce Money. It had Mary J. Blige, 𝐥𝐤𝐤, the Notorious B.I.G. was on here on the classic song, the duo song Brooklyn's Finest. He had the legendary sample from that he that he used Nas' voice on Dead Presidents 2. This album was recorded from September 1994 is when he first started recording this album through February 1996. It was recorded at D&D Studios in New York City. The genre that's considered for this album is mafioso rap and East Coast hip hop. The album is about 55 minutes long, and the executive producers were Sean Carter, which is Jay-Z's real name, Damian Dash, and Kareem Big Burks, who were the other two founding members and owners of Rockefeller Records. This album saw the release of 4 singles. The first single was Dead Presidents Part 1, was released on February 1st, 1996. The second single, Ain't No Nigga, featuring Foxy Brown, was released on March 26, 1996. The third single, featuring Mary J. Blige on the hook, Can't Knock the Hustle, was released on August 29, 1996. And the fourth and final single from this legendary classic album was entitled Feeling It, which was released on April 15th, 1997. The album debuted at number 23 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts. It charted for a total of 18 weeks, which wasn't too bad for a first-time album in the 1990s, in the mid-90s, where it saw the release of a lot of competition during that time. So he did fairly well with this album. The album didn't go platinum until years later. It was a gold certification for a long time. I think it eventually went platinum, maybe close to probably almost 10 years later, something like that. Like I mentioned, it didn't go platinum until years later. It's actually one of Jay-Z's lowest selling albums. I think the album probably only sold till date, which we are in 2021, probably 1.5 million copies sold 25 years later. So everybody know when Jay-Z really got established in the game, he was moving 3, 4 million, 5 million units on albums like In My Lifetime, Volume 2 and Volume 3 and all those albums. He was doing big numbers. So for this to be only 1.5 million 25 years later, it lets you know how undervalued this album was. Jay-Z pretty much mentioned it on the Blueprint. He said Reasonable Doubt classic, should have went triple. Based off talent and based on how great this album is, this album should be a diamond album if you want to rate it by talent and views. But a lot of people were late to the party, but better late than never. Throughout the years, I know Jay-Z said he originally wanted the Wu-Tang affiliate, the young kid back in the 90s, mid-90s, that was real popular during that time, Shyheim, on the song Coming of Age. But I guess Shyheim wasn't available to do it, so that's when he brought in a young rapper that lived in the same building that he did in Marcy Projects, which his name is entitled Memphis Bleek. So he got Memphis Bleek to take the place of Shyheim on the album, and the rest is history. I like Memphis Bleek. I think he had a good career. He was a great artist. I like what he brought to the table. To me, I like them. I like Memphis Bleek music. I hope he will continue to make music someday. Kind of been out the limelight a little bit, but I digress. Yeah, Reasonable Doubt, it's a classic studio album. It's great. One of the best hip-hop albums of all time. One of the best hip-hop debuts of all time. I know you have Nas with 𝐦𝐤𝐤𝐞. To me, both of these albums are in the same category, and is in the same with competition. To me, you can't go wrong. I think 𝐦𝐤𝐤𝐞 is a little better because it was a shorter album, and Nas kind of basically, I guess you would say, did the album pretty much by itself. I know he had features on there, but he didn't have many features. He had an unknown artist by AZ, and I think he had Q-Tip on a song. But other than that, that was about it. So he basically carried the album pretty much himself with his lyricism. But Reasonable Doubt is definitely a great album. If you haven't listened to Reasonable Doubt, definitely check it out. I definitely will be playing it on today. This is Reasonable Doubt 25th anniversary. Reasonable Doubt turns 25 today. Time is flying. It's a classic album. I know recently, actually this week, I know Dame Dash was trying to, I know him and Jay-Z was going to court. Something about this album, I guess, is either coincidence or was purposely done. I think a lawsuit was brought up by Dame. Now I know they recently blocked the sale. He was trying to sell his piece of Reasonable Doubt or something like that, or get a piece of it. I'm pretty sure this album is worth a lot of money. I'm sure that's why they want it. Is Jay-Z doesn't own sole ownership of it. I think Damian Dash still has a piece of it. So it's a classic album worth a lot of money in his catalog. So I can see why they would be fighting over. I know they said the judge blocked the sale of, blocked the Damian Dash from selling it. So, we'll see how that turns out. But, and another thing I know Jay-Z said in an interview that he intended that Reasonable Doubt was going to be his first and last album. He said that was his intent, but I'm glad he didn't follow through with that, because I was just thinking, like, what if Jay-Z would have dropped this album and he would have been like one of those guys, like, whatever happened to that guy? You know that dude that dropped that hot classic album? He had that song out with Mary J. Blige back in '96. Whatever happened to him? I know he said he wanted to be more behind the scenes and more of an executive, but maybe that's what he probably would have been known for, just an industry person, signing people, running a great record label like a Russell Simmons or somebody like that. But I'm glad he didn't, follow through on that, because we would never had the legendary Jay-Z and his legendary catalog with Blueprint, Volume 2, 444. So many different albums that Jay-Z has came and blessed us with over his 25-year career. And when I don't think Rockefeller would have been as big, because he was carrying Rockefeller with his releases. Then of course he signed Memphis Bleek and Beanie Siegel and all those guys out of Philadelphia. So this album right here was a springboard, and it helped Jay-Z start his career. He started with Big Jazzo in the 80s, and this is his first solo studio album that was released on their newly founded Rockefeller Records, released through Priority Records also. So, but like I said, I'm not gonna hold you guys too long. I just wanted to talk about Reasonable Doubt. What kind of hip hop fan would I be if I didn't mention Reasonable Doubt? on the day that it turns 25. So I definitely had to make a video talking about Reasonable Doubt. So I wanted to keep it short and sweet. So that's it for me. Please, like I said, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications. Until next time, continue to keep pushing the culture forward. And let me know in the comments, what's your favorite Jay-Z album? What's your favorite song on this album, Reasonable Doubt? It's a toss-up for me. I like Brooklyn's Finest. I like Dead Presidents 2. I like Feeling It. I like a lot of songs on here, but if I had to choose one and one only, I probably would go with Dead Presidents 2 with the Nas sample. You made a hot line, I made it a hot song. So I'll probably have to go with that. So, like I said, I'm out. Continue to keep pushing the culture forward, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.